Hey y'all, it's Jacqueline at Pixie Dust PhD. I am filming this on May 14th, 2025. This is the month 63 creator update. We will do a brief talk on some news, though I don't want to get myself in too much trouble on the internet, so it might be a little brief. We'll see, and then we will do stats, analytics, and revenue for this past month of the channel, as well as a lifetime. There are a couple of Disney Vacation Club news pieces I wanted to get to before we get into the big topic, and they are relatively small. First up, anyone with a Villas at Grand Californian stay should be pretty happy to hear that the park entrance into DCA from the Grand Cal is back open. When I was out there about 6 weeks ago now, that park entrance was closed, so you could still kind of walk a back way, and then I think we were using the Pixar Place hotel entrance, which was still great, but I think this is considerably more convenient. Additionally, DVCnews.com reports that the scrims in the villas portion of the hotel were removed, basically signaling an end to construction. Though interestingly, it sounds like there may have been no updates to the bathrooms, and this is the first time that has been fully refurbished since 2009, so quite a while for none of that to get touched. If you have a Villas at Grand Californian stay coming up shortly, definitely report back about what you think of the refurbished room. I would love to hear it. Also, Disney Vacation Club did announce that the quarterly Condominium Association meetings for all of the Florida resorts are going to be held on June 10th. My understanding is that the annual meeting in December is still the one with more fanfare, basically, and so this is probably going to be pretty basic. Each resort is only slotted 30 minutes, for example. But you never know what questions might get asked, what folks may say or reveal, so if you are in the area and don't have anything better to do, it could be a good time, but I personally wouldn't go out of my way to go. If you do want to go, you will have to register, and you can only attend meetings for resorts where you are a deeded owner. And not specific to Disney Vacation Club, but probably does apply to many of you, is that we do have VI pass holder days coming back to the Walt Disney World Resort. So these are bonus perks for annual pass members. Specifically, there will be a lounge for annual pass holders in Epcot. I believe it's already open as of the day I'm filming this and will run through about end of July. If any of you remember Restaurant Marrakesh back in the Morocco Pavilion, that is where this will be held. RIP a Restaurant Marrakesh. I wish they would actually bring it back. There are also a small handful of dining locations that are going to offer 40% off menu prices to pass holders. Now through June 30th, this promotional offer is valid at Boatwright's, Cape May Cafe, Hollywood and Vine, Tusker House for lunch and dinner only, and Toledo. Then for the month of July, this offer is valid at Ale and Compass for breakfast and lunch, so no dinner there, Coral Reef, the Diamond Horseshoe, Tiffin's, and Whispering Canyon. And that discount is valid for regularly priced menu items and non-alcoholic beverages, so alcohol is not included, and it is valid for the annual pass holder plus 3 guests. So not everybody at the table needs to be an annual pass holder. I personally would probably be trying to take advantage of this at Toledo and Tiffin's. Those are very good meals, and especially if you can get that discount, that's absurd. I also think Tusker House would be fun, and it would be a good chance to go try out Hollywood and Vine at a discount. All right, and finally, of course, the biggest news piece we heard about during this last monthly period is the plans for a new Disney park in Abu Dhabi. My understanding is that this is going to be financed by the Miral Group, so more of a Tokyo Disney Resort vibe where it's not owned and operated by Disney. There is another investment group really footing the bill. And this is planned to be located on Yas Island, which is kind of making a name for itself in the theme park world as like a destination location. There's already a SeaWorld there, a Warner Brothers theme park, a Formula One racing theme park, and I think 1 or 2 others as well. So from an operational business perspective, I can totally understand this decision in that financially Disney is taking on next to no risk, and you would be growing your portfolio and your company in an area of the world where you really don't have anything. And I don't want any of my comments to be misconstrued in being like very pro this decision. And I also think it's important for me to clarify that I think it's fine for things to not cater to American fans or the typical base, whether that's, I actually don't know who the typical base for Disney theme parks is. I would guess Americans, Canadians, folks from the UK, and maybe like Brazilians seem to come, at least to Disney World, quite a lot. I think it's fine for theme parks to cater to a different audience. Great. My concerns and hesitance here, which I think probably many of you share, are about human rights issues in the United Arab Emirates and how that will work in many regards. So one, like how are the people who would build the theme park, how are they going to be treated? My partner is a pretty big soccer fan. I would put myself at the casual level, but we definitely follow World Cup. And so, you know, all of the events leading up to the Qatar World Cup, like concerning conditions. And then there's staffing the park. And I don't want to make huge overgeneralizations. And obviously we don't have data from the Disney company to necessarily support this, but my lived experience of going to the theme parks in America, at least, are that there is a larger than expected compared to the general population. There's a larger than expected proportion of LGBTQ plus cast members. And I think that's especially true in departments like creative, Imagineering, and entertainment. And so how are you going to staff an entire theme park with entertainment with kind of the strict lens that the UAE is likely going to apply? And during build out, like, will Imagineers and others feel safe traveling to be on site? Even when you think about promotions, you have some of the, I guess, younger Disney stars that maybe don't conform fully to traditional views. And will they be able to go to the parks to promote? For me, like, Moana comes up right away because I think Moana is massive, and obviously putting a Moana attraction on Yas Island in the UAE makes a ton of sense in my opinion. None of the IPs have been announced to my knowledge, so that's a wild guess, but I would put something Moana there. And if I am the original Moana, Ali Cravalho, like, I won't put words in her mouth. I don't know how she feels, but she doesn't follow every stereotypical norm. And so would she feel safe to want to be willing to travel to the theme park itself for promotions? So you've got building the park, staffing the park, promotions. Those are all, in my opinion, logistical operational challenges. And I'm not saying that you can't overcome them, but they are things that don't present themselves as heavily in other locations. And I'm not here to say the US is like a human rights haven, that we're like getting everything right. Of course we're not. You know, people will, I'm sure, be in the comments saying, well, Florida's not very LGBT friendly either. And I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Like, there's definitely room for improvement, but it is a scale, right? In my head, for all policy, really, it's a scale of badness. And we're not at the tippy top perfect end, but we are pretty far removed, I would say, from the UAE. And so let's go into the future and pretend that the park is built and they manage to staff it appropriately, all those things. Then you have guests, the visitors. And I don't think every theme park needs to be for Americans. Again, I'm not saying that, oh, what a shame that they're going to build this park in a place that Americans can't go to. That's not my point. My point is there will be a large swath of the population from many countries that simply won't feel particularly safe going. And again, it's a sliding scale. I know some people probably won't feel safe going to the Chinese theme parks. I'm sure there are some people who don't feel safe coming to Florida, all those things. But it does feel more dramatic in the UAE given its governmental prowess and policies on human rights. And so given that fact, to me, this feels like the first Disney park that would be built not for everyone to come visit. I think I've always viewed that as a big edict of the Disney parks, is that this is a place for everyone. And pretty expressly by its location in the UAE, I do not think this will be a park for everyone. And for me, that is sad and concerning. And there is a lot of time between now and when the park might open, assuming that the project moves forward, which honestly I think it will because there's a lot of money behind this. But yeah, it gives me pause. It's definitely a different feeling than kind of other Disney announcements we've had in the parks realm in the past. If it does get built out, though, I'm sure it's going to be really cool. Like, again, there's going to be a ton of money behind this. The UAE is really trying to position itself as a tourist destination. There's a lot of bougie resorts now. A lot of really rich people go and have a great time. So I'm not saying you can't go. I'm not saying don't go, it's not safe. I'm not saying, form your opinions based on a Western point of view from what you're reading in biased Western media. You can read the US State Department page on the UAE and its human rights policies, and obviously that's not going to be perfectly unbiased either. There's going to be no take that's not biased. And I'm not telling you don't go. I think if you want to go and you can afford to go, great. But it does feel like it will be a privilege to go in more than just a monetary way, which I just think it's a shame. Let me know how you're feeling about the big Abu Dhabi park announcement in the comments down below. I think it's definitely a complicated topic. There's a lot of nuance to be had. So definitely, give each other some grace. Give me some grace, please, about none of us are UAE human rights experts. We're here to be Disney Parks fans. And none of us participating in capitalistic society can live a perfectly ethical life. And so, there just are nuances to this situation. It'll be really interesting to see how this develops over time. With that, let's go ahead and get into stats. So I pulled the month 63 stats from April 11th through May 10th. I actually posted almost 2 videos a week for this entire monthly period, so definitely a heavy posting month for me. I think the day before the period started is this first bullet about my character experience recap, so while that is not technically in the monthly period, I assume many of the views did trickle in during the time frame that I pulled stats for. Then I only got to one Disneyland video. That was a Pack With Me video. There are more Disneyland videos coming. I just can't promise you when. But in an effort to wrap up October 2023, we really made some headway there. We did the lounge recap, we did the drinks recap, we did the Epcot recap, which if you haven't watched, like half of that is the Drink Around the World recap, which is the first time my partner and I ever did that. So that was an adventure. And then I posted last month's monthly creator update, and I also showed you the Bay Lake Tower room that I stayed in during my quick September trip, which I genuinely think is the best view for a standard or resort view studio you can get in Bay Lake Tower. I was thrilled to get that room. For members only, I did post a little bit of a longer video where I did a quick recap of my Disneyland trip. I say quick in quotes because I did tell them like everything I did. So I was trying to go fast and I wasn't, really talking about the experience of like every ride, every attraction, every food thing. It was like, here's what we did. Oh my gosh. And then, a couple of tangents about things that I couldn't hold in terms of things I wanted to say. So that was the main member perk this month. And then I did very recently post a Disney World DVC kind of discussion video. I think technically that will be in month 64. I intended to post it in month 63, but I ended up prioritizing the DVC availability video instead. So here is a look at the top content by views for this month. And 2 shorts made it in here, which I am baffled about. The top video is actually a short of It's a Small World from Disneyland, so I do think that It's a Small World recently opened back up, so it may have gotten picked up in some weird algorithm stuff there. And then the 4th one is a short of my Loews Royal Pacific room tour, so again, maybe with Epic opening, people are searching for that more, but yeah, very strange. Then as per usual, we have several room tours on this list, but there's actually like really no DVC only content on here, which is a bit strange for me. And randomly, my High in the Sky Sue's Trolley Train like POV from Universal snuck in here. I have no idea why, but that's fun. And so of these, only one was posted this month, which is that Bay Lake Tower room tour that I was just telling you about. Everything else is pretty old. I mean, heck, the number 1 short is from November of 2022. Overall, this month, the channel got just under 7,100 total views from about 4,600 unique viewers. 770 of those viewers are returning. Thank you so much for coming back. I know I say this every month, but it is kind of like baffling and humbling and amazing to me that I have a rough base of, 750 of you that like continuously come back every month. And only one of those is my partner, and only one more of those is my partner's parents. So I really appreciate it. And as per usual, if you do all the things, like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below, share with friends, it super helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And I just really appreciate you doing those actions. An extra thank you to my monthly supporters over on my Ko-fi. This past month, that was Tara, Judy, Amy, Michelle, James, Coco, and Tiffany. I really, really appreciate it. Beyond the support, the extra camaraderie we're able to have is something I am really enjoying. Then overall this month, the channel got about 360 total watch hours, and there were just under 80,000 total impressions, with 37.3% of those impressions coming from YouTube. And finally, in month 63, the channel got 14 new subscribers. Moving on to lifetime analytics, we are now at just over 400,000 total views with about 25,900 watch hours. The channel now has 4.48 million impressions, with 40.7% of those coming from YouTube. And overall, lifetime the channel has hit 2,004 subscribers. Moving into reflections, month over month, it was bad. Literally everything was worse. Now, views wasn't actually that much worse overall. Watch hours was definitely worse, but it didn't hit a place where I feel upset. I'm not only at like 200 hours on the month or something. I'm still over 350, so that's fine. But impressions tanked. Only got 80,000 impressions on the month, and then only 37.3% of my impressions were coming from YouTube. I'm used to those numbers being a lot higher, and I think those numbers being lower explains why the rest of my stats kind of tanked. I'm not too sure what to do about that though. Like, I posted more content than usual. I guess I could go back and check the tags. Maybe I wasn't doing a very good job there. But yeah, it, just wasn't my month in the algorithm. But lifetime, we did eclipse 400,000 views, which is crazy. And we finally hit 2,000 subscribers lifetime. Yes! Though I will say, since I pulled the stat, so I pulled this through May 10th, and it's, May 14th when I'm recording, so it's been a couple days. I've lost a couple subscribers, but I am still over 2,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can stay over that threshold. Again, it's been a really slow year for me in gaining subscribers month to month, and I'm sure there's more I could be doing about that, right? Like, I don't post about the videos on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, all these other social medias. I'm not like actively trying to grow super hard, so I know that's on me, but it did just used to kind of come to me a little easier, and now I'm like, well, it is what it is. I'm still having a good time doing this. And like I said, I'm really enjoying the camaraderie. I know I've been slow to get back to comments lately. I am so sorry. I've just been like really exhausted from work, and just trying to keep up with the channel minimally has been my goal. So, but I do intend to put some time aside, hopefully this weekend, and get back to all of you. Moving into revenue then, here's what it looked like for month 63. I made just under $37, so a little bit of a slow month for me. Not too surprising given the stats. This is just under $6 for every 1,000 views overall, or just under $19 for every 1,000 ad views. And here is a look at my top revenue generating videos for the past monthly period. And let me note here, I meant to do it earlier, but of my like 7,000 or so views, about 2,000 were from shorts. Which once upon a time when I was posting a couple shorts a week, yeah, sure, I'd get a couple thousand shorts views in a monthly period. But these days, like, that's weird. I normally do not get more than about 800 or 900 views on shorts in a monthly period, and this was more than twice that. So again, something got picked up in the algorithm, or I don't know if someone just scrolled through my shorts feed for days on end or what, but I did get a good portion of my views this month from shorts, and shorts for me are not revenue generating. I mean, it generates pennies. So knowing that, I'm really not surprised to see the monthly revenue down a bit, but that's fine. Lifetime revenue have now eclipsed $1,600. This is about $4 for every 1,000 views, or about $20.69 for every 1,000 ad views. And as we've talked about the past few months, definitely a peak up in that kind of holiday shopping time. And then, we're coming down, we're returning back to normal. Upcoming content, because I'm posting this a little bit late, you've already seen some stuff for this month. So there was the Country Bear Jamboree, the old one that I saw in October 2023. Then we did 11-month availability for DVC for kind of spring break time of 2026, which blows my mind that we're already talking about spring break 2026. And while I was staying at Bay Lake Tower in September 2024, because we had such a great view, I did take advantage of my balcony and watch the Happily Ever After fireworks from there, and I recorded that, so posted that. Notably, I didn't have entrance to the Magic Kingdom that trip, so that was like my only way to watch Happily Ever After, and you bet I did it. In the next couple weeks, you should see a recap video from my October 2023 trip where my partner and I are discussing new experiences. And then I also did put together like an Animal Kingdom day vlog from September 2024. And after that, I don't think anything else is edited. So here are some possibilities. I think the last October 2023 video would be the recap where my partner and I are talking about kind of like the things that didn't go so great, our trip annoyances, our lowlights. We recorded that, back in November of 2023. I've just been waiting. And I think I should have a room tour for Old Key West from my September 2024 trip. It's more likely than not that will get posted to the channel because those are a lot faster for me to edit and do the captions and everything. Then I did do my September 2024 trip without my partner. So when I got back, we recorded a video where I kind of just did a trip recap with him instead of just this format. I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about it more like a podcast, I guess. So I have that video, though it's not edited. And then just, a slew of stuff from Disneyland Resort. There's probably some DVC availability requests that I could be doing that I need to look into. Oh, and I didn't put this on the list, but at some point in the near-ish future, I'd like to do a video on really the process of one-time use points for Disney Vacation Club. So I can't show you buying them because you do that on the phone, but then how you can manipulate them in your account. So there was your overview. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything like that, definitely leave it in the comments down below. Thanks again to everyone who sent well wishes about my job situation. It's going to be unstable for a while, I think, so I'm just trying to get used to my new normal. I'm also going to have to start commuting to a pretty far away location once or twice a week, which is going to eat up a lot of time that I would otherwise put into the channel. So I am still hoping to maintain a once a week upload. If that changes, I will let you know, and or if I miss a week, you can just bet it was a job thing. If you've got like end of school year, start of summer, Memorial Day plans, I hope that those are great. I'm looking forward to just having a day off. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments down below about the new Disney park announcement in the UAE. Again, let's definitely be respectful to each other, and I think give everyone some grace that none of us are experts in this field. I will try to record and post this in a more timely manner for June. No promises though, but that is my goal. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. I really do appreciate your support. May the rest of your day be magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.